Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. This is Alaka from Code Learning Academy. This is a channel where we teach you about website development, machine learning, artificial intelligence, database, and much more. So in this course, we are going to design a fully responsive food ordering website using HTML, CSS, and a little bit JavaScript. Before directly dive right into the design part, let me show you the features of this website that we are going to design right now in this course. And then at the beginning you can decide whether to watch this video or not to watch. The choice is up to you. If you have an interest to develop and to master the front facing of any food ordering website just like this is the right course for you. So here is the home section for this responsible food ordering website, and over here we have a logo on the left and we have a navigation menu right here. So here we have the home section. In the home section you have a header text right here and a nice call to action button right here, and also we have a linear gradient background image. The best part is we have 4 background images. As you see here, these background images animate every second. This is a cool trick that I will show you in this course. So I will show you exactly how you can create this animated background image just like this one. Here we have another section right here, and here we have a read more button right here just like this one. And when you come to this is our order your favorite food, right? As you see here, this is the favorite food that we deliver to our customer, and you see it has a nice animation just like this one and a nice order now button right here. And again, here is it. And also this is, you can download our application on Google or Play Store or whatever you want. This is the steps that we are going to build just like this one. And then again, here is the special award chip. It is amazing, right? It's amazing. You see, it is nice looking background image with fixed position, and here is the name of the chief, and here is just like this one. It's amazing, interesting, right? You see? And here is the latest blog section right here. You see? Here you have a read more button, and now when you drag a little bit down, you see, choose the best plan for you. You see, this is the starter plan, the basic plan, and enterprise plan right here. So again, we have a nice hover over effect right here. We have just added a nice hover over effect just like this one. This is very beautiful. It's very amazing and beautiful. So I'm going to show you exactly how you can create such a nice pricing plus section just like this. You see? Okay, again, when we drag a little bit down, we have find the contact section. You see, this is a fixed background image right here, and you see a call to action button. When you click on this name, and you see a hover over effect. When we hover over or when we click on this name right here, you will find just like this. And when you click on email button right here, you will find just like this one, and you can select this from here. This is amazing, right? And here is a newsletter, and you can tick or you can untick. By default it was checked, right? So you can uncheck it or you can check it, and it is a drop as a line, or you can put your comment right here. And now we have a nice submit button right here. This is also amazing, and having a nice background color right here, which is very interesting. And now when we drag a little bit, we find that our contact section right here. Here we have our contact section, and here we have the place that our company is fine. This is the Google map, and then we have just integrate the Google map right here that indicates where our food ordering website is found, right? You see, here is it. So you can minimize and you can find where this company is found, so you can detect the exact location for our website, just like this one. No matter, I'm going to show you exactly how you can integrate the Google map to your website. This is amazing. And now when we drag it down, we have reached the footer section right here. Here is the footer section, and here is the website footer section. It is responsible for any device. So when you come to this is the quick link, and here is also the link. That's nice, right? Okay, the payment option, and here is the social media button right here. So as a web developer, what do you feel about this website? Do you have an interest to build such kind of an amazing, fully responsive food ordering website, but don't know where to start? This is the right course for you. I'm going to show you everything you need to know from start to finish, from zero to hero, in order to develop such kind of beautiful food ordering website just like this one. The only thing expected from you is to devote your time. I'm going to show you everything from start, how to start from the basics of website development, how to set up the folder structure, and how to integrate each folder, and then you can be able to develop your own food ordering website just like this one using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. That is it. If this sound is interesting, make sure to subscribe and press the notification bell icon to be notified when I come out a daily programming training video just like this one. With that being said, now let's dive right into the first section for this development project. Hello and welcome. In this lesson, we are going to set the foundation for our website design project. Actually, these are the steps you will need to follow for any website design project, so pay attention. The first things first, open your text editor and follow me. First, we need to set up our folder structure. And first, we need to create a folder and make sure that we have everything related to the project in one project folder. So let's do that. I'm going to create a folder right on my desktop. I'm gonna call it food delivery website right here. So create a folder having a folder name, let me say food delivery website. And now we have the folder ready. We can put all the content, the images, documents, and other necessary things in the folder. Now, here is how. Web design projects are usually organized by the web designer, and you should also organize your project like this through your project folder. Should have two folders. One should be called resources, and the second one should be called vendors. So now let's create these two folders right here. Alright, here we have the resource folder, and here we have the vendors folder. In the resource folder, you will again have different folders: CSS, JS, and image folder. Now let's create these folders right here. Inside the resources folder, the CSS folder will of course contain all the CSS file that you created, and the image folder will have all your images, and your JS folder will have all your jQuery and JavaScript code inside the folder. Designers usually have another image folder inside this CSS folder. Let me create this folder inside the CSS folder and call it img. And this is the image folder usually to hold images related to your project, like your background image and other stuff. When you come to the vendors folder here, we will again have a CSS, but this folder will hold all the external CSS files that you will download or that have been created by someone else. Then you will have a font folder here. This folder will hold font files that you will download, and then you will also have another JS folder right here. This JS folder will hold all the vendors' jQuery and JavaScript files, not the ones that you created. This is an external file that you download from the internet. We're going to be using some vendors jQuery with this website. So don't forget to put the jQuery file inside this folder. Now, once the folder structure is ready, we can get back to our code editor. In this project, I'm going to use Sublime Text. You can use any text editor as you want. It may be VS Code, it may be Brackets, or it may be Atom, or whatever you want. It is up to you. So the best two code editors that I recommended is VS Code and Sublime Text. So in this case, I'm going to use Sublime Text. And now start coding. Let's create a new file and save it as an index. Now over here, let's create a new file right here and save it as an index.html. And we're going to place it in our project folder, food delivery website. We'll put it in the root of the project folder right here. Now we create a CSS file, so file new, and we'll save it as style.css, and we'll save it inside the resources CSS folder, since this will be developed by us. Now we are going to add the basic code that we will always need for every website, and that is we put a star, which is universal selector, margin 0, padding 0, and box sizing border box. Let's add a general property for the whole HTML and body selector right here. So using these two element selector, an HTML and body element selector, we are going to add a general properties for the whole HTML document. So the global font size, let me say, in this case I'm going to use a general global font size 60 pixels. It's possible to change it for an individual elements later, of course, but this is going to be just the general setting, and we'll also set a property called text rendering. Text rendering optimize legibility. This text rendering property makes sure that your font gets rendered properly on your web page and then let's import the font we need for our website. We are going to download them. We are just going to use from Google Fonts. So in your browser, go to google.com and this is, and then select any font as you want. And this design project, we are going to use Poppins. So let's sort it. So let's find it, Poppins. And you can see over here the different styles that are available for this. The different fonts that are available, like you have italic font, you have higher font weight, and then you have lower font weight, and also you have a medium font weight. So select any font style that you want. We should try to avoid importing too many fonts because it slows down our website while rendering, so we don't want that, right? Once you have all that you need to select it, click on the link tag right here. Because we simply want to copy the HTML code and paste it in our file. As you can see, Google Font makes your HTML link tag ready with all the fonts that you want to link to. So all you need to do is just select it, copy it and paste and place it in your index file inside the head elements. Copy it and place it in your file. We also need to link our index file to our stylish document, style.css. Never forget that. And this is. Now we are ready to create the actual design, but before that we need to download a few CSS files from the internet. We will see that after which we can get started. Okay, welcome back. In the last lesson, we set up the folder structure and wrote the basic design for our web page. In this lesson, we will set up the basic part of our code, something that you probably need to do every time you start building a web page, that is setting up a browser reset and a fruit grid. You will get both from this website, from responsivegridsystem.com. Now, what is browser reset and what is fruit grid? Oh, well, a browser reset, also called a normalized style sheet, makes a browser display all the elements more consistently and aligned with a modern standards. It precisely targets only the styles that need normalizing. And saying this, what is fluid grid? In a fluid grid, all elements are sized in relative units, such as percentage instead of absolute units, such as pixels. This makes it easier to adjust the size of our elements so that parent element and the size of the element changes in proportion to the size of the screen that they are viewed in. You know that website may be viewed on computer monitor, laptop screen, a tablet or a mobile phone. Each has different screen size, so it is important to make sure that our elements adjust their size according to the screen size. Otherwise, they will overflow to the size of the screen, and once that happens, we see that website is unresponsive or non-responsive. A responsive website is the one that looks great and adjusts itself according to the device and the size of the screen it is viewed in. Thus, using a fluid grid helps make sure that your elements are laid out in such a way that they are almost fluid. They adjust themselves with the screen. For example, this is a responsive website. As I said before, a responsive website is the one that looks great and adjusts itself according to the device and the size of the screen it is viewed in. And also, if we take a look at this website here, and we adjust the size, see what happened? See what happens over here. The elements adjust their width and the size according to the size of your screen. As I said before, to get a responsive grid, you can visit responsivegridsystem.com. From here, you can get the code for the fluid grid if you just click on download. So, if you click on a download, you will get a zip file. Okay, here is a zip file. I'm not going to download it again because I already have it, but I will just show you what it looks like after you download. So this is what it looks like. You have a CSS folder here, And inside it, you have all these CSS files. The download also contain a browser reset for your web page, so you don't need to download any extra CSS from elsewhere. The only problem is that it gives you the CSS file in separate parts. So over here you have one for the two columns, one for the four columns, one for five columns, which is not really very convenient. So what I did is I put all their code together in one CSS folder like this. And once you download and put it in one CSS folder, just copy and paste into your vendor's folder CSS, because this is not among your own code file. It was made by someone else. So let's do that right now. I will save as, and we are going to call it fluid.css. And then, of course, don't forget to include a link to this file from your index.html. So let's include that. So using a link tag in the head section, it was under vendors CSS and it was called fluid.css. Now let me show you what so cool about this fluid.css. So when you use this fluid CSS, you can easily divide your content into rows and columns. In each row, you can have either one column, two columns, three columns, four columns, five columns, or even up to 12 columns. All this group of columns have the same width. If you notice, the total weight of all these columns are the same, and individually also they are divided into equal sized columns. The benefit of dividing our content into columns along with the width of the screen is that you can then manipulate content of the column as a group instead of separately handling them. Now see what happened when I reduce the width of the screen. See, all these columns reduce their width so that the total width remains the same. They also maintain their width ratio with each other, so they will still equally sized, but they have just become a little narrower, and the total size of them is also equal, and the total size of each. So you also see that you don't not compromise on the number of columns. You don't see any columns shifting and moving to the next row unless you come to a certain width. When they will not really look nice and will not probably look a little bit squished, and that is when each column arranges itself one way or the other. And this is what I mean by fluid grid. This only happens because the columns which are set in percentage rather than in pixels. So they set their width according to the width of the device screen. This is very important when you want to make a responsive website using importing the fluid grid. So now let's just briefly browse through the fluid.css file right here, and this is all about. Okay, now we have just completed the basic setup, the basic folder that are needed to design a responsible website that are responsible for any device having different screen size. So having this, now let's jump right into the design part. Follow me along, and finally you will have your own food ordering website just like this. Before that, if you are new to this channel, make sure to subscribe and press the notification bell icon to be notified while I come out a daily programming training video just like this one. With that being said, let's dive right into it. Hey, what's up everyone? In this episode, we are going to walk you through to create the beautiful animated header part of the website. As you see here, here is our project folder and here is our project document. So in this case, we are going to link the font awesome document, the fruit grid document, and also the CSS document into our HTML document right here. So as you see here, here we have our project folder. Here is inside the resource folder, we have a CSS folder. In this CSS folder, we have our style.css folder. As you see here, we have, so we have to link this style.css with an HTML document right here. And inside the vendors folder again, we have font awesome document and a fluid grid document. So again, we have to link this fluid grid document with an HTML document and the document that we have got from font awesome with an HTML document right here. Okay, now let me open this document inside my browser. Okay, here it is. Okay, now again, let's start to create our visible part of the web page. The first is header part. Inside the header, we have to have a nav element. In this nav element, we have to nest an image, img source. The source of an image is over here, which is found inside the resource, and an image folder that are found inside the resource folder. So over here we have this logo, so which is found inside the resource, and img, and again slash foodweblogo.png, which is the name of the image. This image is found inside the image folder, and the image folder also found inside the resource folder. Foodweb website logo, which is very important for search engine optimization, and also this text is displayed when the image is not found inside our web browser. And again, inside this nav element, we have an order list. Inside this unordered list, we have list items that are displayed in my web browser. Okay, a line and an anchor element. And let me copy this 5 times. Okay, here we have. And let me adjust the placement of this list item. And here we have our menu bar. Over here, the first menu bar will be home and service. And again, order now. And then we have how we work, and here we have a blog, and finally we have one extra navigation menu, which is contact. Let me copy this and paste over here and delete this and write contact us right here. Okay, here we have our expected navigation menu. Okay, now let me save and refresh. Okay, here we have, right? So to see it visible over here, let me size the background color black, and when we save and refresh, we able to clearly see our logo and our navigation menu. Now let me add a comment over here in order to organize our document. Again, outside of this navigation, let me add a comment over here. Website background images. Okay, now let me create a div element having a class name slider here, and then inside this div element we have to nest another div element having a class name slide header image 1. Put a period over here. Okay, and then press tab key on your keyboard, and then here we have. Then let me copy this 3 times since we need 4 background image, and then let me adjust the placement of these. Okay, here we have, right? And outside of this div element we have to create again our header content. our header content is nested inside this div element having a header box class name. And again, we have an h1 element. As you see here we have the text that we interested to place over the header part of the image, and we have two call to action button. We have this click order. Let me copy this and paste over here. Again, let me create another call to action button right here. Let me create this show me more call to action and paste over here. Now let me save and refresh. Okay, since the text for our h1 element is black, we cannot able to clearly see that text as you see here. Let me change this into gray. Okay, and now let me save and refresh. Here we have our text, our call to action button, and our navigation menu is clearly visible. Well, the major goal is to create this beautiful, responsive header part of the website. As you see here, this header part has a beautiful call to action and an animated background image right here. What cool is that? So we are eager to show how you can create this beautiful responsive header part of the website right here in this video. And now over here, let me say a class name logo, and again inside this UL unordered list we have to have a class having a class name menu bar, and also inside this h1 element we have to need a class having a class name header box heading. And let me remove this. By the way, here we have the font size 60 pixel, which is the global font size, and font family, poppin, sans serif, and using an element selector, nav, margin, auto, width 100%, the width of this navigation menu 100%, and background color 000, which is the hexadecimal color code of a black color, and using a class selector logo, and the first property for this logo with, let me say, the width of this logo will be 50 pixel and margin 10 pixel from top and bottom, and 50 pixel from left and right. And again over here let me override this margin adding margin bottom, let me say 0, and it overrides the upper margin bottom, which is 50 pixel. And again let me save and refresh. Here we have right float to the left, and again using a class selector menu bar right here, menu bar float to the right. And now let me save and refresh. Here we are, right? Okay, the background color is already gone. Why this happen? The reason is inside this nav selector we have to add a position absolute and left 0, and again top 0. So the position will be absolute and left 0 and top 0. Let me save and refresh. Here is it, right? Again using a descendant selector menu bar and li, in this case any list item which is found inside the menu bar class have such property. The first property will be display a line block, and another property list style none in order to remove the bullet point, and again margin right, let me say 30 pixel, and let me say margin top 20 pixel, and let me save and refresh. Okay, here we have right, and let me continue. Again using a descendant selector menu bar li and an anchor element, let me remove this, and a, as you see here, any element which is nested inside this anchor element. This anchor element which is nested inside the list item, and this list item, which is found inside the menu bar class, have such property. The first property is text decoration none. This text decoration is able to remove the underline from the navigation menu, and color, let me say white FFF hashtag FFF, which is the hexadecimal color code of a white color. And again, font size, let me say the font size 120%, which is, in this case, our global font size is 60 pixel. So 120% of 60 pixel is some number, right? Okay, and again, font weight, let me say font weight 300, and text transform uppercase. Let me save and refresh. Here we have, right? What is that? And now we have to add a hover over effect on this navigation menu. So to do this, let me copy this and paste over here, and let me remove this and a pseudo class selector, hover padding bottom, let me say 7 pixel, and again border bottom 3 pixel, solid hashtag ff9. Okay, now nothing is displayed. Why? Here is a mistake, we left a blank space. So let me save and refresh again. Here we have, right? Okay, what code is that? Okay, now let me add some animation while we are hovering on this navigation menu. So to do this, let me add another property, transition. Let me say the value that targets border 0.4 second is. And now let me save and refresh. Here we have, right? Okay, now we have just completed our first navigation menu. Okay, then using a class selector slider header to add a background image. So first let me add a comment over here, and using this class selector, the first property value pair is height. Let me say height 90 viewport height. VH means viewport height, right? And using another class selector right here, slide header image 1, in order to add a linear gradient background image. Using this class selector, we need to add different property value pair right here. The first property is position. Position absolute top 0 and left 0, and again background image URL in order to locate the destination or the location of this image. So the exact image location is the image is found inside the page folder. The page folder also found inside the img folder. So over here, as you see here, we have bg, we have img / and bg / and the image name having a JPG format right here. And now let me save and refresh. As you see here, nothing is displayed since we have to add another value pair. So over here, we have to add a property with 100% and height 100 viewport height. And now let me save and refresh. Here we have a repetitive background image. So to remove this repetitive, we have to add another property, background property, which is background repeat, no repeat, and another background property, background position, center. And also let me add another background property, which is background size. Background size cover, it covers the whole area. So now let me save and refresh. Here we have a beautiful background image. Now on nav selector we have to add z index 1. So again, now let me save and refresh. Here we have, right? Okay, the navigation menu is displayed over the background image. So again, over here we have to add a linear gradient over the background image. So in this case, linear gradient having different RGB color. Here we have the first color, and the second color, the third color, and separated by a comma. Here we have, right? And here we have a linear background. Now let me save and refresh. Here is a beautiful linear background image. So now let me copy this 3 times. Copy and paste. Slide header image 2 and paste over here and change this 1 into 2, 3 into 3, and over here let me change this 1 into 3 and this 1 into 2, and again let me copy this one more times and change this 1 into 4, and again change this one image name into 4. Since we have 4 background images, and then we have to change this class name 1 into 2, 3, and finally 4. Alright, and now let me save and refresh. As you see here, here is the last background image that overrides another 3 background image. So, to display this background one by one, we have to use a keyframe rule that enables to display this background image one by one. Let me add a comment over here. Header image animation using a keyframe rule. So here is the keyframe rule that enables us to animate our background image. So here we have the keyframe rules, and here is 1, which is our animation name, and at 0 what will happen? Here is at 0% and opacity. The first image opacity at 0, opacity 1, and again let me copy this and paste 4 times. And here is the cool trick. At 25%, opacity of the first background image becomes 0, and at 50%, the opacity of the first background image becomes 0 again. And at 70%, the opacity of this first background image again becomes 0. And again, let me copy this and paste over here. And finally, the opacity of the first background image at 100% become again displayed. So the opacity become 1. Right? And now using this animation name and add over here on the first background image. So animation, then followed by the first value is animation name, which is followed by animation duration, which is 10 seconds is in. So now let me copy this and paste over here, right? And let me change this animation name into 2. By the way, you can assign any animation name. It is up to you, right? The opacity of this second background image at 0% becomes 0 since the first background image is 1, and at 25% the opacity becomes 1, and at 50, at 75, and at 100%, the opacity become again 0. And now let me add this, and now using this animation name, the same 10 seconds is in. Okay, alright. And now let me do this for another. To do this, let me copy this and paste over here. And now let me change this 2 into 3. The opacity of this background image 3 at 0% and 25% becomes 0, and again at 50% the opacity becomes 1. Alright? And at 100% and 75% again 0. Right? Since the opacity of image 1, background image 1 and background image 2 become 1, 1 at 0 and 25% respectively. So it becomes 0 at this percent. And now let me copy this and change this into 0 at 50%, 0, and the opacity of this background image 4 become at 75 become 1 and change into keyframe animation name into 4. Alright? Alright. Do you understand? And now let me copy this and paste over here. Right? And now let me change this animation name. Sorry. And finally, let me copy this and paste over here. And the only thing expected from you is to change this animation name to into 4, right? And now let me save and refresh. Here we have, right? As you see here, we have an animated background image. So here is it, but it stops after 10-second animation duration. Here is, right? So to animate this infinite times, we have to change this easy in into infinite. Infinite is an animation iteration count. So if we are interested to animate our background image infinite times, we have to change this animation iteration count into infinite right here. And now let me change this easy in into again infinite. Now let me save and refresh, and you can observe the effect, right? So it animates infinite times. It never stop animation. Alright. And now let me style this header box content using a class selector header box, and first property value pair will be width. Let me say the width of this header box. Let me say 960 pixel, and again position absolute, top 30%, left 50%, and another property translate. First let me save and refresh to see the effect. Here we have, right? So let me add translate 50% to the left and 50% here we have, right? Text align center, and now let me save and refresh. Here we have, right? So again, using this class selector, header box, and margin 0 from top and bottom, and auto from left and right. And again, color, white color, and font size. Let me say font size 250% of 60 pixel, which is the global font size. Font weight 300. Text transform, capitalize. Now let me save and refresh. Here we are, right? Now letter spacing 1 pixel. Let me say word spacing 3 pixel in order to adjust the space between the two consecutive words. Let me say 3 pixel, and line height, which is a gap between two sentences, 150%. Which is 150% of the global font size. Okay, now here we have, right? Now let me down this a little bit. So to do this, let me remove this minus sign. Okay, here we have, right? Let me style this h1 element. So to style this h1 element, we have to create another element, span element, and nest this text right here. Span goodbye junk food is nested on a span element, and to start a new line we have to use br tag right here. And now let me save and refresh. Here we have, right? Using a descendant selector, header box, and span, let me style this Goodbye junk food text. Well, so a class selector header box with an element selector span the texts that are nested, and this descendant selector will have such property. The first property is padding bottom 20 pixel, font size 260% of 60 pixel, and then font family. Let me add another font family over here. Calibri, sans serif, Gill sans, and so on. And font style, italic. And now let me save and refresh. Here we have, right? Okay. And now let me style this call to action button. So to style this call to action button, first let me add a comment over here. First let me create a class over here. Class button. For the first call to action, btn full, and for the second call to action, btn ghost. By the way, you can add multiple class name inside one class attribute. So, using this class selector btn, let me say the first property value pair, text decoration, none, display, inline block, and save and refresh. Here we have, right? And again, let me add another property value pair, font size 150% and color white FFF, and padding 7 pixel from top and bottom and 20 pixel from left and right. And again, margin top, let me say 25 pixel, margin right, let me say 20 pixel. And now let me save and refresh. Here we have. And now again, using another class selector for the first call to action button, btn full. So background color, let me copy this background color. Here we have, let me copy this hexadecimal background color and paste over here. And again, border 1 pixel, solid orange. Now here we have, right? Okay, now again, let me add a pseudo class selector, link, and visit state. Okay, and what will happen in link state and in visit state. So over here again, let me add a border radius on btn. Let me say border radius 8 pixel and save and refresh. Here we have. And now let me copy this and paste over here and change this btn full into btn ghost. Okay, now, and background, let me say transparent. Let me save and refresh. Here we are, right? Okay, now over here, let me add another property, transition background. First, let me target background and 0.5 second, and again let me target this border and paste over here, and again 0.5 second, and also let me target color 0.5 second, and then let me add a hover over effect over this call to action button. First, btn full, hover using a pseudo class selector hover, and btn full active, and again using this class selector btn ghost hover, and btn ghost active will have such property value pair. Background color will have such background color, and border 1 pixel solid. Let me copy this color hexadecimal color code and paste over here. Let me add a period over here since it is a class selector, and now save and refresh. You see, here we are, right? And now Congratulations, we have just finished the header part of this responsible website. In the next episode, we will continue to create this service section right here. Take a cup of coffee and follow attentively. Okay, well, in this section of the course, we are going to walk you through to create the service section of this website right here. As you see here, this service section has different styles and it also has different icons right here. So we will teach you exactly how you can do this. So over here, we need to use a fluid grid in order to divide just like this one. And here we have a fluid grid class selector called row. And also we are going to use span 104. That means each covers 20% of its parent element width. So first let me add a comment over here, service section, and then let me create a section. Inside this section we have two rows, the header part and the service section part. Here we have class row, and here we have an h2 element having a class name, section heading, and also here you have a paragraph element having features para. So here we have our text that we are going to use. So let me copy this and paste over here, and again let me copy this paragraph and paste inside the paragraph element right here. And then here is the first row, and outside of this row we will have another row. So row, and this row is divided into 4 columns. So over here the fluid grid is coming to play. So over here we use a class name called, which is found from a fluid grid document as you see here, and we are going to use a span 1 class selector. Why? Because we will divide this single row into 4 columns. As you see here, here is a span 104. A single column will cover 23%, as you see here. So now inside this class we can able to add another class name, in this case call and span 104. Again we have an h3 element and a paragraph element. Here we have the text that we are going to use on h3 element, and copy and paste. And again here we have a paragraph, and copy that paragraph and paste inside this paragraph. Okay, here we also have an anchor element and read more. And then let me save and refresh. Here we have, and now let me add this icon. So in order to add different icons for your website design, first you should integrate font awesome with your HTML document, and then come over here on font awesome search bar and search time, and then click on free. After that we have this icon, and then click on the icon that you are interested, and then click copy this HTML link and then paste over here. Alright, and now save and refresh. Here we have a little icon right here. Okay, now let's jump into to style this HTML document right here. So using a class selector, a row with the width of each row, let me say 1140 pixel, and margin of each row, let me say 0 from top and bottom and auto from left and right, in order to adjust it at the center. So again, using this class selector to style our h2 element. So section heading, and the first property, font size, let me say font size 200%, font weight 400, margin bottom, let me say 20 pixel, word spacing 1.5 pixel, and padding top, let me say 100 pixel, and then text align center, and again a letter spacing 2 pixel. Finally, text transform uppercase. And now let me save and refresh in my web browser. Here we are, right? As you see here, here is the first column that covers 23% of the width of the row. So next we will design this line. So in order to design this line using a pseudo class selector, section heading and after, and then let me say the first property display block and with 100 pixel, and the height of this line let me say 4 pixel, and background color let me add a primary color. Here is my primary color over here, and copy this color and paste over here. Okay, and now again let me save and refresh. Here we have nothing displayed. I will show you the reason why. So the reason is we should add content and the value will be empty. And now let me save and refresh. Okay, here we have our line. So we will add another property, margin 0, and also to align it at the center. And again, margin top 25 pixel. And now let me save and refresh. Here you have, right? And let me add a class over here, service section, in order to add a background color. So using this class selector, here is so using this class selector, service section, background color, here is the color code that we are going to use as a background color, and text align center. And now let me save and refresh. Here we have a nice background color, and again using this class selector features para in order to style this paragraph right here. So using this class selector features para, font size let me say 120%, and line height 150% of the 60 pixel, which is a global font size, and text align center, and then padding bottom 50 pixel. And now save and refresh in my web browser. Here we have, right? Okay, now let me add another class name over here. So let me say service feature, and in order to style this icon right here, we are going to use a descendant selector, service section, and the first property value pair, font size 450%, since we will consider it just like a normal text. That's why we will design just like a text. So color orange and padding bottom let me say 50 pixel, and now save and refresh. Here we have a nice icon right here. Okay, now let me style this h3 element. So to style this h3 element right here, let me copy this and delete it, and then replace I by h3 font size. Let me say the font size 170%, and font weight let me say 400, and padding bottom 25 pixel, color black, line height 200%. Now save and refresh. Here we have, right? Okay, now let me decrease its line height a little bit. Let me say 108%, and now save and refresh. Okay, it's cool. Now let me style this paragraph right here. So to style this paragraph is nested inside the div element having a class name service feature. So let me copy this and paste over here and change h3 into p. And now delete this, and let me say the first property text align justify, and again line height let me say line height 150% of the global font size 60 pixel. Again margin bottom 20 pixel, and now save and refresh in my web browser. Okay, here we have. And now let me style this read more call to action. So to style this, we can use either descendant selector, service section and A, or we can style using by creating another class name right here. Let me say service link. It's better to add a class name right here. So using this service link class selector, text decoration none, color, okay, here we have my primary color, and copy this color and paste over here. Text transform uppercase, let me add dot dot over here, and now save and refresh. Here we are, right? Okay, now let me add a hover over effect over this link. So copy this and paste over here and add a pseudo class selector. However, remove this and border 2 pixel solid, and copy this primary color and paste over here. Background transparent, border radius, let me say 80 pixel, and again padding 3 pixel from top and bottom and 10 pixel from left and right. And now let me save and refresh. Okay, here we have, right? When we hover over on this link, this style will display it, right? And now let me copy this and paste it 3 times right here. So we have 4 columns. And now let me save and refresh. Here we are, right? As you see here, each column is covered 23% of the row width. In this case, the row width is 1140 pixel. This style is come from a fluid grid, right? That's why we should link this fluid grid with an HTML element right here. Okay, now here we have the content that we will use to create this feature section. So copy this and paste right here, and then here we have a paragraph. Copy this paragraph and paste right here. Copy this again and paste right here, and also copy this paragraph again, come over here and paste right here. Finally, copy this text right here, paste over here. Finally, copy this last paragraph right here and then paste over here. Now let me save and refresh. Here we have, right? And then in order to add different font awesome icons right here, as always, come over fontawesome.com and find your favorite icon, and then filter by free right here, and here we have different icons right here. So let me use this icon carrot and click over here and copy this HTML link and then paste right here, and then let me use this right here, copy this hamburger and then paste this HTML link right here. Finally, search time right here, filter by free, let me use this icon right here. Copy this HTML link and then paste right here. Okay, now save and refresh. Here we have, right? And let me use this class selector service feature, padding left, 20 pixel. Now save and refresh. Here we have, right? Now over here, let me copy this organic food. Here we have, right? On the next episode, we will continue to design another section of this responsible food ordering website right now. Alright, welcome. In this episode, I want to teach you exactly how you can create this different food item section right here. As you see here you have different animation right here and have a beautiful order now button right here. The image is having an effect of zoom in and zoom out while hovering the mouse over it. So to create this, first let me add a comment over here, food ordering section, and now we have to list all the important elements inside this section element right here. And inside this section we have a single row, and inside this row we have h2 element having a class name section heading. This is a section heading class. As you see here we have the same class for an h2 element right here. So, and also we have a paragraph element having a class name food ordering para right here. And now here we have our content. Let me copy this and paste inside an h2 element right here, and again copy this paragraph and paste inside this paragraph element right here. Okay, now let me save and refresh in my web browser. As you see here, the content inside this h2 element is already styled just like this. Why? Because as you see here, it has a section heading class selector, and come over here, and as you see here we have a section heading, so it is reusable, so I use it over and over again in order to minimize our code right here. So let me say comment over here, reusable heading style right here, and let me copy this. Let me say over here is the end of reusable heading style. So we will use this style over and over again. So this h2 element is already styled just like this. Cool, and now let me add these different food items and call to action button right here. So outside of this row we have another row, and inside this row we have 3 columns. Here is the first column having a class name call, which I found from FruitGrid, and inside this call we have an image and an h3 element, and then we have a button right here. As you see here, we have 3 columns. The width of each column covers this percent of the width of the row, as you see here. So span 1 of 3, one column will cover 32.26% of the row width. So copy this class selector and paste over here, span 1 of 3. Over this, let me create this div element having a class name and next image, h3 and button inside it. And now let me add different food items right here in this source attribute. So in order to find, as you see here, we have resource folder, we have these different food items right here, right here, right here. So as you see here, this different food item is found inside food items folder, and this food items folder is found inside img folder, and an img folder is also found inside a resource folder. So in order to locate food items right here, we have resource. In this img folder, we have food items. In this food items folder, we have the name of different food items right here. So here we have the first cake 2 having JPG format, and H3 cake and button or call to action button, order now. And inside this alt attribute, let me add cake over here, and then first let me save and refresh. Here we have the first food item, and then let me copy this and paste 2 times right here. All the food item is found inside the first column. So copy this 3 times and change the name of the food item right here. Let me say birthday cake and copy this and paste inside the value of the alt attribute. Let me exchange the placement of this food item, and here we have, and now let me add pizza right here and change this food item name pasta1.jpg and change the value of the alt attribute right here. For search engine optimization, or if the image is not displayed, this text will be displayed on your browser. So now let me save and refresh. Here we have different food items and call to action button right here. And let me style this section right here. So and let me style this section right here. First, let me add a comment food ordering section in order to adjust our code, and then inside this section, let me add a class food items, and then using this class selector food items, and here we have the first property, a background color. Here is the background color that I have interested in, and paste over here. Now let me save and refresh. Here we have a nice background color right here. So now let me style this paragraph right here. So in order to style this paragraph, we have this food ordering para class selector. So line height 150%. Let me save and refresh. Here we have a nice paragraph right here. So let me style this separately. So in order to style this paragraph, let me add another inline block select element span. So let me next, are you busy on your work and not to have time to cook a food inside this span element? So using descendant selector food ordering para and span selector right here, the first property, let me say color, right? Save and refresh. Here we have, right? Okay, now let me add another property, font style, italic. Save and refresh. Here is it. And then using this food item plus selector and img food item img, and then object fit cover with 350 pixel height, let me say 200 pixels, and then padding right 10 pixels, cursor pointer. Now let me save and refresh. Here we have a beautiful food items right here. Here we have a cursor effect right here. So now let me add a hover over effect over this image. So copy this and paste over here and delete this and add a pseudo class selector hover transform scale 1.1, and let me add transition over here 0.3 second is in. So now save and refresh. As you see here, when you hover over your mouse over this image, it has a zoom in and a zoom out effect. So using this class selector again, let me copy this food item and delete this and replace this selector by h3 in order to style the text that are nested inside this h3 element. Padding 8 pixel, padding left, let me say 50 pixel. So now save and refresh. Here we have right. Okay, now let me create a class inside this button in order to style this call to action button right here. Class, let me say btn, we have btn, and now save and refresh. Here we have right. Why? Because as you see here, we have already styled this btn class right here. So it inherits this property. So in order to style a little bit different, let me add another class selector btn items. So using this class selector btn items right here, we can style differently from the normal call to action button. So btn items, background color, dark green, margin, 10 pixel. So save and refresh. Here we are right. Now let me add a hover over effect over this call to action button. So hover, btn items, hover, and change some properties right here. Background color, dark olive green. So save and refresh. Here we have right. And now let me remove this and replace it by text align center. And again, margin left, let me say 90 pixel. Save and refresh. Here we have cool, right? Okay, this is the first column. It covers 32.26% of the row width. So now let me copy this and paste 2 times. Over here and over here. And now save and refresh. Here we have right. Here we have right. What cool is that? Okay, now let me change the name of the food item right here. Here is an image, here is, and here is. So, to save your time, I will do it offline. Welcome back. And now, let me save and refresh. Here we have, right? And then, text transform, let me say capitalize. And again, over here, padding top, padding bottom. Here is it. Let me say background color, copy this color code and paste over here. Let me change this background color and now save and refresh. Okay, when we hover over your mouse on this call to action button, it seems like just like this. Cool. Okay, congratulations, we have just finished our product section. So in the next episode, we'll continue to create this section right here. Take a cup of coffee and get a break, and we will continue. Okay, welcome back again. In this episode, we are going to walking you through to create this section right here. Okay, as always, let me add a comment over here, working section, and then section having a class name, work section right here, and this section has 2 rows and 2 columns. Here is the first row. In this first row, we have an h2 element. So here is our content. Copy this and paste over here, and then copy this class name right here. As always, here is the style for this class name. So copy this and paste over here and save and refresh. Here we have, right? And then we have another row. In this row, we have 2 columns. Here is the first column that contains the image section, which covers 49.2% of the row width. So copy this class name and paste over here. And the image location is food.png. This image is found inside an image folder. The image folder is found inside the resource folder. So here we have, and now let me save and refresh. Here is it, a big image right here. And now let me add another column, copy and paste. In this column, we have next another div element having a class name, working procedure. Inside this div element, let me add another div element over here. Let me add number 1. Also, here we have a paragraph element. So here is the first paragraph. Copy and paste over here. And copy this and then paste over here and change this 1 into 2 and copy this text right here and then paste over here, and then we will do the same for the rest. And now let me save and refresh. Here is it. And then inside this column, let me add 2 important links. This link right here. So in order to add this link, first we have an anchor element. In this anchor element, we have to nest an img element right here, and then write the image name with its location. Here is the image. For the time being, I only add this Google Play Store image right here, and copy this and paste over here. And now save and refresh. Here we are, right? And now let me jump into to style this section right here. First, using this class selector, as always, first let me add a comment over here, and using this class selector, work section, padding top 20 pixel, margin 0 and auto, in order to align it at the center. And now save and refresh. Here we have. And then over here, let me add another class workbox. And then let me add a class over here, class work image. Here is it. And using this class selector right here, let me style the image. So work image and margin 0 from top and bottom and auto from left and right with 80% and then hit auto. Now save and refresh. Here is it. And then using this class selector right here, workbox, and using a pseudo class selector first child, it enables to focus on the image part. Padding right, let me say 5%, and padding top, let me say 25 pixel, and then copy this and paste over here and change this first child into last child right here. And padding right, let me say 3%, and padding top, let me say 60 pixel. Oh, let me change this percent into pixel value 25 pixel, and now save and refresh. Here we are, right? And then using this class selector working procedure right here, and working procedure, let me cite the first property, margin bottom, here is 20 pixel, save and refresh. Here we have, and now let me style this number, and this number. So in order to style this number is nested on the div element having a class name working procedure. So using this class selector right here and this div element selector right here, so working procedure and div, let me say font size 150% and width 50 pixel, height 50 pixel, and again border 5 pixel, solid red. And now save and refresh. Here is it. So again, let me add another property right here, border radius 50%. So again, save and refresh. Cool. Font weight, let me say 400, and again text align, center, padding top 10 pixel. Now save and refresh. Cool, right? Box shadow 3 pixel 0 and 8 pixel green. Now save and refresh. Here is it. This into 5 pixel, and again save and refresh. Here we have, and display inline block, save and refresh, and then float left, and now save and refresh. Here we are, right? Let me increase this into 8 pixel and decrease it into 1 pixel, and now over here let me add another property right here, margin right 50 pixel, and then save and refresh. Here we are. And now again using descendant selector, work procedure, and para p, let me target this paragraph right here using this selector and font size 120%, line height 150%, text align, justify. Now save and refresh. Here we have. Okay, now let me start this link right here. So first let me create a class right here, Android app, and then using this class selector right here and with 140 pixel margin 30 pixel. So save and refresh. Here we have, right? Okay, congratulations, we have just finished this section right here. On the next episode, we'll continue to create this block section right here. I'm very excited to show you this. Okay, welcome. In this section of the course, we're going to create this block section right here. First, let me show you the feature that we are going to create in this episode. As you see here, this section has a pixel background image and a nice image right here. So in order to create this, we have a section having a chief section, class having class name chief section, since we are going to create chief sections. And then we have two rows. Here we have the first row having an H2 element and a paragraph element right here. And then here we have a text that we are going to use on H2 element, and then copy and paste right here. And also here we have a text that I will be using inside a paragraph element right here. Let me save and refresh in my web browser. Here we have, right? And again, outside of this div element, we have another row. And then outside of this div element, we need to have another row that contains this image section and this different section right here. So inside this row, we have another div element that contains an image, a paragraph, and a header text right here. So, and here we have a paragraph, and then again we need to have an H4 element right here, and then down this H4 element we need to have a paragraph element right here. Here is the text that we are going to use for this section. So copy and paste right here, and then again copy this text right here and paste inside an H4 element right here. Alright? And then here we have a text that we are going to use as a paragraph. So copy and paste right here. And then here is a source attribute. So we need to have an image location. Let me find the image right here. So here is the first image that we are going to use. So the location of the image is, as always, resource, which is found inside an image folder, and image name is chief ff1 having a png format. And then let me add the value of an alt attribute right here. You can assign any value as you want, but this text right here is displayed on your browser when the image is not found, and also it's very important for search engine optimization. So now let me save and refresh. Here is it. Okay, cool. So over here we need to have a class name that we are found from fluid grid. So in this case I'm going to use span 2 of 6. It covers, as you see here, it covers the width of each column, covers this number right here. So we need to add right here this class name. Okay, and then now here is right. And now we need to have two columns right here. So copy this and paste it 2 times right here, and paste right here, and then change this name into whatever you want. And let me leave another text just like this, and then let me change this image name. Here is chip 3 and here is chip 2, since we have a beautiful image right here and right here. Having said that, let me save and refresh in my web browser. So here we have, and then using this class selector right here, let me style the overall of this section. Here is a background image. Let me use this background image This image is found inside img folder, which is found inside CSS folder. Here we are. So we are going to use a linear gradient, and here is the URL of the image, or the location of the image, which is found inside img folder, and the image name is chiefbg.jpg. Here is it. And now let me save and refresh in my web browser. Cool. So as you see here, we have just add this background image. So let me add another property right here for the image. The first property is background size cover. As always, another property is background repeat, no repeat. And again, here we have another background property, which is background position center. Let me save and refresh. As you see here, here is the image, but it is not fixed in its position. So we need to have another background property, which is background attachment fixed. So again, let me save and refresh in my web browser. So when you scroll your cursor right here, here is the background image is already fixed. Cool, right? And then let me add another class selector right here by adding a class name about chiefs. So using this class selector, let me style this h2 and a paragraph element. So first, using this class selector about chiefs, and then the first property, let me say margin 0 and auto, and again text line center, padding 10 pixels from top and bottom, and 0 from left and right. And now let me save and refresh. Here we are. And then again copy this and paste over here, and now let me target this h2 element right here. So h2, let me get rid of this, and the first property, let me say color orange, font size 250%, and then font weight, let me say 400, and then text transform uppercase, and also padding bottom, let me say 10 pixel. Save and refresh. Here we are, right? Okay, cool. Here is it. And now let me target this paragraph right here. So copy this and paste over here, and let me get rid of this and change this into h2 into p, color, weight, font size, this much size, and font weight 400 again, and save and refresh. Here we are, right? Okay, now let me add another property right here, text transform. Let me say capitalize instead of uppercase. So save and refresh again. Here is it. Cool, right? So again, we need to add another class right here. Let me copy this and paste over here and get rid of s. So using this class selector about chief and padding top, let me say 60 pixels. Save and refresh. Here we are, right? And let me target this image in order to style the image. So it's found on an element selector having class name about chief, and using a pseudo class selector about chief and img. Here we have the first property, let me say percent and height auto, border top right radius 150 pixels, and copy this and paste right here and change this right into left. And now let me save and refresh. Cool, right? Okay, here we have a nice image having a fixed background position. And then let me style this part right here. So to style this part, we need to add another class selector right here, and then let me say chief description. So using this class selector right here, chief description and border 5 pixel solid orange, and background color, let me say white, and margin bottom, let me say 75 pixel, and now save and refresh. Cool, right? Here we have. And then let me style this text right here. First, let me change this into green. Nice. And now let me style this text right here. So first let me copy this and paste over here, and let me get rid of this, and then let me add paragraph, since we are going to target this P and this P right here. So, and the first property, let me say font size 1 rem. 1 rem is 60 pixel. And line height also, let me say 1.2 rem, which is 1.2 times 60 pixel, which is the global font size. Text align, justify, and padding 0 from top and bottom, and 5 pixels from left and right, and font weight 350. And now save and refresh. Cool, right? Here is it. And now copy this and paste over here. So over here we need to target this H4 element right here. So again, using this selector, change this P into H4, and font size, let me put again in rem value 1.5 rem, which is 1.5 times 60 pixel, and line height 2 rem. Let me change this justify text align into center and remove this, and color orange. Now save and refresh. Here we are, right? Nice. And let me add another property, text transform. Let me say text transform, capitalize, and now save and refresh. Here we are, right? Cool. And now let me target this name right here. So to target this name, first let me create another element right here. So we need to nest this text right here inside a span element in order to style in different manner from the rest of the paragraph element. So using class selector chief description P and the span right here, we are going to target this name. So target this, copy this, and paste over here, and add span selector right here, and font size, let me say 1.2 rem, font weight 400, and color, let me say red, and text align center. And now let me save and refresh. Here we are, right? Okay, here is it. Okay, here is it, right? Okay, as you see here, we have a nice linear gradient pixel background image right here, and we have this beautiful image right here. So, what cool is that? Below. Do you have a question right here? If so, let me know in the comment section below. We will continue on the next episode. Hello, welcome. In this episode, we are going to dive right into to create the blog section of this food ordering website, just like this. Before directly diving right into it, let me show you the features that we are going to design right now in this episode. As you see here we have the blog section of this full order website, and it has different call to action button right here and different images having a beautiful alignment. Okay, with that being said, let's dive right into the design. As always, here we have a comment, and let me create a section having a class name blog section right here. And then inside this blog section we have another div element having a class name blog post. In this div element we need to have another div element having a class name blog info. Inside this we have an h2 element and a paragraph element right here. A paragraph element, let me say, having a class name latest blog, and then let me add some content right here, latest food web blogs. And then right here, let me add some text right here inside the paragraph element. So now let me save and refresh. Here we have. Okay, now here we have an HTML part, and now let's dive right into to style this text right here. So first let me add a comment over here. So using this class selector blog post and background image URL, and the URL of this image, here is an image img which is found inside img folder, and here is an image, and write an image name right over here. This which is found inside img folder, footer image.jpg. And now save and refresh. Here we have. Okay, again let me add another property, height 40 bh, which is a viewport height, and save and refresh. Okay, good to go, cool. And then using this class selector right here, blog info, and background color light gray, and again with, let me say, with 50%. Now let me save and refresh. Here we have. And then let me add another property, padding 40 pixels from top and bottom and 50 pixels from left and right. And now here we have. Okay, now let me add another important property, which is position absolute and left 50%, top also 50%. Having said that, let me save and refresh. Here is it. Why this happened? Because if you say this position absolute, the parent element should be in position, having a position relative value. So here is the parent element blog post. So this should be a relative, position relative. With that being said, now let me save and refresh. Here we have, right? Okay, cool. And now let me add another property to align this. So over here we need to add transform translate minus 50% to the left and minus 50% to the top. In this case, 50% to the left and 50% to the vertical direction to the top. Here we have, right? And now let me add another property over here, text align center, and using this class selector, and let me target h2, and the first property will be text align center, font size, let me say font size 110%. Line height 108%. Padding top, let me say 10 pixels. And now let me save and refresh. Here you have. Okay, this should be the property value pair for P paragraph element. Let me write P instead of H and save and refresh. Here you have, right? Okay, cool. And then let me style this H2 element right here. So copy this and paste over here and change. Let me get rid of this and then change this into 250% and change P into H2. Here you are, right? And now let me save and refresh. Here you are, right? Okay, cool. Let me continue. And then outside of this div element, we need to have a row. In this row, we need to have 3 columns. So over here, we are going to use span 1 of 3 class selector right here. And then inside this column, we need to have an image, a text inside an H6 element, and we have a div element having a class name blog post info. Inside this div element, we need to have another element. This element, let me say, span having a class name blog outer, and also another span element right here, span having a class name blog date. Then also another span element right here having class name blog category. And then let me find the image location right here. Here is the image that we are going to use, and over here is a resource folder. Inside resource folder we have an image, and in this an image folder we have the image right here. And then we have this text right here. Copy this and paste right here, and copy again this and paste right here. And then here we have the date that I am going to use and paste right here. And here we have the category, the blog category. And then copy this and paste right here. And then outside of this div element again, we have a paragraph having a class name blog type right here. So copy this text right here and paste over here. Cool. And then outside of this, we have also a link. So right here is a call to action button right here, and copy this read more button right here and paste over here. Let me delete this. Here is it. And now let me save and refresh in my web browser. Here we have, right? Here is an image, and here is a link, and here also a paragraph right here. Cool. And then over here, let me add a class, which is, in this case, we have a class name right here, which is a reusable class name right here. Let me find it. Here is it, btn. So copy this class name and paste right here, and again let me add another class name btn full, so it inherits the property value pair for btn and btn full class selector right here. So now let me save and refresh in my web browser. Here we have, right? So this is an HTML part. So let's dive right into to style this HTML document right here. So here is an image, and using blog post section and an image element selector right here, which is a descendant selector, and then blog section img in order to style the image, Here is block section, and here is an image with 100%. Here we have, right? It covers the whole column with, you see, this 100% width means 100% of this span one of three element selector right here, which is 100% of 32%. So, which is almost 32.26% right here. So, again, let me copy this and paste right here and change image into H6 element selector. And let me get rid of this and replace it into by font size. Let me say font size 150% of the global font size and line height. Let me say 150% also. And now let me save and refresh. Here we are, right? Cool. And again, using this class selector right here, blog post info, blog post underscore info, margin top, here is 5 pixel, and line height. Here we have 150%. And again, save and refresh in my web browser. Here we have, right? Cool. Okay, and let me add another property right here. Padding right. Let me say 5 pixel, and also font size. Let me say font size 80% of the 60 pixel. And now let me save and refresh. Here we are. It is better to copy this and paste right here and use another element selector right here, a span, and let me remove this, and again let me remove this, and here we have. Now let me save and refresh. As you see here, let me add the padding right here, 10 pixel, since as you see here we have a blog post info class selector, and here we have a span. Also, let me add another property right here, font style italic. Okay, now let me save and refresh. Cool, right? Okay, the padding right is already adjusted right here. Cool. And then using this class selector block type in order to style this paragraph, block type, and then line height 150%, margin top, let me say 10 pixel, and font size 110%, text align, justify, font weight normal, and now save and refresh. Cool, right? Okay, here we are. And then let me add another property right here, color black 000, which is a hexadecimal color code of a black color. Okay, cool. And this is the first column. So the only thing expected from you is copy this and paste it 2 times, since we are going to use similar class name and similar element, except we are going to change the image and the text inside every element right here. So copy these 2 times, and now let me save and refresh. Here we have, right? Okay, so now the only thing expected from you is to change the text, the image right here. So to save your time, it's better to change it offline. Okay, welcome back. Here we are, right? everything is similar except the text and the image. The class name is similar, and the element position is similar, and the column width is also similar. And now let me save and refresh. Cool, right? Okay, here is it. Okay, are you staying with me? If so, congratulations, we have just finished this blog section right here. What is your feeling about this? Let me know in the comment section below. And having said that, in the coming episode, we are going to create this package section right here. So, before directly jump right into the design part, let me show you the features of this package section right here. So, as you see here, here we have different styles and a beautiful call to action button as well, and also the alignment of the text and a hover over effect on this package section is very amazing. I'm so excited to show you how you can design this. So here we have the text that we are going to use for the designing purpose of this package section right here. As you see here, here we have 3 package sections, and then in order to create this package section, as always, let me add a comment over here, and then over here let me create another section right here having class name packages section. In this section we have a row, and this row we have an h2 element having a class name package heading, and then also in this row we also have a paragraph having a class name package about section. So now here we have the text that we are going to use. Copy this text right here and paste inside this h2 element right here, and then here we have a text that we are going to use inside the paragraph element, and copy this again, paste right here. Cool. And now outside of this row we have also another row. So let me copy this. This is the first package section, since we are going to design the first package section, and let me add a comment over here, starter package section, and it is nested inside this span 1 of 3 class selector, which covers 32.26% of the width of the row. You see? So copy this span 1 of 3, and inside this column we have a div element having a class name package container. And this div element we need to have also another div element, and in this div element we have a label element having a class name package type, and also here we have also a paragraph element having a package price. And then also we need to have another paragraph element having a class name package description. And then here we have the text that we are going to use. So copy this and paste right here inside h4 element, and then copy this text again. Here is the price for the starter package, and copy this and paste right here again. Here we have the paragraph. Copy this paragraph and paste inside this paragraph element right here. And outside of this div element, let me add another div element having a class name package features, and in this div element we have an order list that contains a list item. So here we have a package features. Here is the first, and copy this and paste right here inside a list item. Here we have the second list item, and copy this again and paste right here, and then here we have copy this text right here and paste right here. Okay, let me remove the space in between them. Okay, and then here we have the final list item and paste right here. And now let me save and refresh in my web browser. Here we have, right? And also outside of this div element, we have another div element that we are going to place by now button. So A having a class name btn and by now, and then save and refresh. Oh, what is going on? Okay, here is. So over here we need to add another reusable class selector btn full so that it inherits the property value pair for the btn full. Right? Cool. Here is it. So as you see here, here is the HTML part for this package section. And now let's dive right into the styling part for this single column. So using this class selector, package section and background color, let me find the background color right here. Here is it. Copy this background color and paste right here. And now let me save and refresh. Here we have a nice background color. And then let me style this h2 element using class selector package heading. Font size 250%, text align, center, text transform, capitalize, margin 20 pixels from top and bottom and auto from left and right. Auto means it adjusts by itself. So again, font weight, normal, and now let me save and refresh. Here we are, right? Here is it. So again, let me style this paragraph right here. So to style this paragraph, we have to use a class selector package about underscore section. Package about underscore section and text align, center, font size 120%, padding bottom 20 pixels, font weight 400, and font style, let me say italic. And now save and refresh. Here we are, right? And now let me style this right here. So let me use this package container, class selector, package container, background color, white, FFF, and box shadow, 3 pixel, 2 pixel, 2 pixel, and purple. Width, let me say the width 90% of the width of the column. Do you know the column width? The column width is 32.26%. So 90% of this column width is the width of this package container. So now let me save and refresh. Here we have, right? And now let me use this package type class selector in order to style the package type and font size 150%, text align, center, margin 20 pixels from top and bottom and 5 pixels from left and right. And again, text transform, uppercase. Now let me save and refresh. Here we are, right? Okay, again, let me style this price section. So we have a class selector right here, package price, and copy this and paste right here. Font size, let me say 300%, and color orange. Text line center, font weight 400, padding bottom, let me say 10 pixel. And now let me save and refresh in my web browser. Here we have, right? And now let me style this package duration. So to style this package duration, first let me nest this inside a span element. So using this class selector, package price, and this element selector right here, we are going to style this package duration. So package price and an element selector span, font size for 0%, which is 40% of the global font size, 60 pixel. Font weight, let me say 500. And now let me save and refresh. Here we have, right? Cool. Let me leave a space in between the price and the package duration. So to do this, it is simply hit a blank space right here, and here we are, right? Cool. And then let me style this paragraph text right here. So to style this, we have a package description class selector. So copy this class selector and paste right here. And text align, justify, line height 1 to 0%, font weight, normal. Now let me save and refresh. Here we are, right? Okay, now let me style this list item right here. So to style this list item, we have a package features class selector right here. So copy this class selector and paste right here, text align, justify, margin left, 10 pixel. Now let me save and refresh. Here we have, right? And then let me remove this bullet point. So to remove this bullet point, here we are going to use a descendant selector, package features, and a line. So list style none. And font weight normal, padding top 10 pixel. Now let me save and refresh. Cool. And now let me add an icon right here. So head over on fontawesome.com and find the icon that you are going to use. So here I'm going to use check icon right here, and here we have an icon. So click on here and copy this HTML link right here and paste right here. And then let me remove this. Here we have and nest this text inside this I element right here. So paste over here. And now let me save and refresh. Here we are, right? Okay, now let me style this right here. So to style this, we have this class selector FA check. So FA check, and then color orange, padding right 5 pixel. Now let me save and refresh. Alright, as you see here, the text also become arranged. So to remove this problem, let me place this text outside of this element. So click, click, click and paste right here. Okay, here we have. Okay, let me delete this. Okay, now save again and refresh. Here is it, right? Cool. Okay, as you see here, here is the first child for the package container. So using this package container again. Okay, so here is the first child for the package container, and here is the third, and the call to action button is the third child or the last child for a package container class selector. So using package container and a div selector div, let me add a property right here. So border bottom, let me say 1 pixel solid gray, and padding 12 pixel from top and bottom, left and right, and width, let me say the width 80%. And now let me save and refresh. Here we have, as you see here, here is a line, here is a solid gray line right here. So here is the first child, and here is the second child, and also here call to action button is the last child or the third child. Let me comment this to show you a solid gray line below the last child. Here we have. So it's better to remove this solid gray line from the last child. As I said before, here is the first child, the second child, the last child for this package container element class selector. So copy this selector and add a pseudo class selector right here, last child, to remove the border from the last child. So border none. Text align center in order to align the call to action button at the center position. So here is the last child, pseudo class selector. So now let me save and refresh. First, let me see this and this line right here. Okay, as you see here, the solid gray line below the call to action button is removed, and then when you add the width of the package section right here into 8% into 90%, this is the result. And now we have just finished the first column package section. So it is simply copy paste for the other. So let me add a comment over here. So as you see here, here is the first package section, starter package. The other two package is similar except the text inside it. So here we have the text that we are going to use for each package section. Here we have the text for enterprise package section. So copy this and copy this again, paste right here. And now let me save and refresh. Here we have, right? So the only thing expected from you is to change the text right here. So here we have a text that we are going to use to design this package, recommended package, and enterprise package. So it's better to change this offline to save your time, since everything is similar except the text inside each element. The class selector is similar, the class name is similar, the element position is similar. So now let me save and refresh. Here we have, right? What cool is that? And then let me remove this box shadow to display the shadow. Okay, here is it. And now let me add a hover over on this package container. So to do this, copy this class selector package container and add a pseudo class selector hover, and the first property, let me say background color, let me select light pink right here, and then another property transform scale 1.02, and again cursor pointer. Save and refresh in my web browser. Okay, as you see here, when you hover over your mouse over this package section, the color and the transform become changed. And again, let me add another property right here, box shadow 40 pixel, and the color become green. And then border radius. Okay, here we have, right? And when you hover your mouse on this package section, the color, the shadow become changed. What cool is that? And click here and its transform also changed, and it has a nice call to action button. We have just finished this beautiful package section. Are you still with me? If so, thank you. How could you find this section of the course? If you have any question or opinion concerning what I have just taught, please let me know in the comment section below. In the coming episode, we are going to create the contact section for this responsible food ordering website right here. With that being said, let's jump right into the code. So, as always, here we have a command, and now here we have a section having a class name. Let me say contact form, and we have a row. In this row we have an HTML element having a class name contact heading, and also over here we have another row. In this row we have two columns. Here in this case, the two column width is different. So the first column will be cover 32.26% of the row width, and another column will be cover 66.13% of the row width. So to do this, as always, here we have the class, copy this class name and paste over here, and then we have a label element right here. Here we have the four attributes. The value of the four attributes, let me say name. I'm going to show you the reason why we are going to use four attribute right here. Stay tuned. So let me copy this and paste right here. After that, remove this and create an input element right here. So type text. Since we need a name form field, so the type for the name is text, and placeholder, enter your name, and then this form field should be required. And again, and now let me save and refresh in my web browser. Here we have a form field. However, when you click on the label element, the cursor will not be detected automatically. Why? The reason is simple. In order to solve this problem, ID integrates the input and the label. We have to use ID and for attribute having similar value. So again, let me copy this and paste right here, since this column should be covered to over 3% of the rows. And now let me save and refresh. When you click on the label value, you see the cursor automatically points to write a text on the input field, right? Okay. And now let me create another input field, which is an email field. And then change this name into email and enter your email. And then the value of ID attribute and the value for attribute should be similar in order to integrate the label and the input field. Email right here. And now save and refresh. Here we have, click here, the cursor automatically imports you to write inside the input field. And now let me add right here an H2 element, and now save and refresh. Here is it. And now, since it is an H2 element, we are going to use a reusable class name. So over here, this is a section heading class name. Copy this class name and come over here and paste over here. So again, save and refresh. Here we have, right? Since here we have the property value pair for this class. And now let me create another form element right here. So copy this and paste right here, and let me say, how did you find us? And remove this and create a select element right here. So we have to create a drop down menu. So to create this drop down menu, we need to have a select element. Inside this select element, we need to have an option that we are going to select. So over here, select name. Let me say the value of the name attribute, find us, and ID, select, and then option. There may be a value, friends, and the text that are going to display in my web browser. Copy and paste here, and then change this. Let me say search and replace it by search engine. And again, let me say this, add, and then advertisement. Let me say others. For the time being, it is more than enough. You can add many options as you want. So now, let me save and refresh. As you see here, here is a drop-down menu. This value, the cursor points to the email field. Why? Because the value of the for attribute should be select and similar to for the value of an ID attribute. So again, let me create another form element right here, newsletter. In this case, we are going to create a check box. So let me say the value of the ID attribute newsletter, and copy this again and paste right here and change this type into checkbox, and then remove this. Now let me save and refresh. Here we have a checkbox. So let me add a text right here. In this case, ampersand npsp or in between a sentence or whatever. Here we have a space between the checkbox and the text right here due to having this ampersand npsp. So now let me save and refresh. Here we have a drop down menu, you can select, and now copy this and paste right here and change this email. This text drop as a line and change the value for an ID attribute. Let me say message. In this case, we are going to create a message area. So to create this, we need to have an element which is text area. As you see here, here is the name, value, and here is an ID. As always, the ID and the full attribute should be similar. So here we have another attribute called and rows in order to determine the width and the height of this text area. So let me add a text right here. This text will be displayed inside the text area. And now let me save and refresh. Here we have a text area. And now let me increase the calls into 100 and now save and refresh. Here we have, right? Here is it. And now again let me copy and paste right here and remove this. And now to create a submit button, the value of the type attribute should be submit instead of text, email, password, and so on. So let me create a class over here having reusable class name btn and btn full. And now remove this label element and add this ampersand npsp. And let me add a value right here, value submit, and now remove this and again copy this npsp and paste right here to leave it as a blank space. Paste right here and semicolon to leave this column as a blank space. So here we have. Now save and refresh in my web browser. Here we have, right? As you see here, when you hover over your mouse, look at this. And again, over here, we need to have a row. This row should be the row that contains all the form field. So, in order to create a form, we need to have a form element right here. So, form, and in the form element, we have an action and a method attribute. For now, the method attribute specifies how to send a form data, and the form data is sent to the page specified in the action attribute. The form data can be sent as a URL variable if you are using a method get or as an HTTP post transaction with when you are using a method post. So here we have, and paste all the code inside the form element right here. And for now, let me leave the value of action and method attribute as a blank, since we are going to create the user interface, the website right here. And let me adjust the alignment. And now let me save and refresh. Here we have, right? And using this class selector, contact form, margin top, 10 pixel, padding bottom for 0 pixel, background color, let me use this color code right here, copy this and paste right here and save and refresh. Here we have a nice background color. And again, using this class selector, contact heading, Let me style this h2 element. Contact heading. Let me add a background image, URL, and the image location. Let me say the image location having img hero.jpg having a linear gradient. These are RGB color code. And background repeat, no repeat, background size, cover, and then background attachment, fixed, and background position, center. Now save and refresh. Here we have an image. Now let me add another property, border bottom right radius. Let me say for 0 pixel, and again another border property, border bottom left radius. Let me say again for 0 pixel, and save and refresh. Here we have, right? And now let me add another property, color white and width 100%. Now save and refresh. Here we have, right? Okay, when you scroll your cursor right here, you see a beautiful fixed background image. And again, using this class selector contact form right here, margin 0 and auto with 65%. And now let me save and refresh. Oh, here we have. What cool is that? The mistake is occurred. Okay, I made a mistake right here since the two classes have similar value right here, contact form. So change this contact form into contact section, and also let me change this contact form into contact section. Now let me save and refresh. Here we have, right? As you see here, we have just a mistake right here. Instead of text, it should be an email. The value of type attribute for email field should be an email. So we should to change this text into email. And now using the selector, input type text and input type email, as well as select element selector right here. So using this selector, input type text and copy and paste right here, and remove this and nest this inside an angle bracket right here. No space is required here between input and the angle bracket. And now let me add another for email field, input type. The type should be right here, email. And also we have a select element, and finally we have also a text area. So as you see here we have a select element, and here we have a text area element. So the property value pair, let me say, with 100% and border radius, let me say 4 pixel, padding 7 pixel, border 1 pixel solid pink, 1 pixel solid pink. And now let me save and refresh. Here we are, right? And now let me style this submit button. So as you see here, using the selector, input type submit right here, and Background color, here is the value for this background color. Padding 4 pixel and 25 pixel. Text transform uppercase, align content center, border 1 pixel solid, having a value for this hexadecimal color code. And now let me save and refresh in my web browser. Here you have a nice submit button right here. Cool. And again, let me add a hover over effect for each of the form fields. So, to do this, we have to use the selector input type text hover, input type email hover, text and text area hover, having a property value pair border to pixel solid purple and background color having this hexadecimal color code right here. So save and refresh. As you see here, when you hover over your mouse on the label element right here, the background color for the text area and the name input field, the email input field, is going to change. So, here we are, right? What cool is that? Okay, we have just finished the contact section for this responsible food ordering website right now. On the coming episode, we'll continue to create the address section for this responsible food ordering website. Hey, welcome! In this episode, I want to show you exactly how you can create the contact section of this responsible food ordering website right here. And also, I want to show you exactly how you can integrate Google Maps with your website, just like this. So now, let's dive right into the practical section. So, as always, we have a command, and here we have a footer section having a class name, footer section. And inside this footer, we have a section having a class name, upper footer section. So over here, let me add a command. So here we have the upper footer section part, and inside this section we have a single row, and inside this row we have 3 columns. So use span 1 of 3. And here is the first column that covers 1/3 of the row width. And inside this column we have a div element having a class name, our address. And inside this div element we have an h3 element right here, and also a paragraph element. And then copy this text right here and paste over here, contact us, and here we have a text right here. Let me save and refresh in my web browser. Here we have, right? And then outside of this column we have another column that covers 2/3 of the row width. So we have to use this class name right here. Copy span 2 of 3 right here. And then in this column we have a div element having a class name, open hour, and also we have in this div element we also have an h3 element right here, open hour, and then we have 2 paragraphs, Monday to Saturday. Now let me save and refresh in my web browser. Here we have, right? So let me nest this inside the first column. So cut this and paste right here. Cool. And now save and refresh. Here we have, right? Cool. And then inside this column span over 3, let me add a div element having a class name, map container. And inside this div element, we have an h3 element, stay connected. And then we have another div element having a class name Google Map. So in this case, I want to show exactly how you can integrate Google Map with your website. So first head over Google Maps and then click this menu bar right here and click on embed Google Map right here and embed a map right here. As you see here is an HTML link. So copy this HTML link that specifies your location. So that copy this link right here. As you see here, this have an inline styling, head, width, and border. So now let me save and refresh. Here we have, right? And now let me change this width into 100% and this height into 100% right here. So it covers the whole column width. So now let me save and refresh in my web browser. So here we have, right? And now, in order to add different icons right here, come over Font Awesome and search font. Here we have different icons right here. Select on free option right here and click on here and copy this HTML. As always, copy this HTML link and paste right here. And now search envelope right here. So here we are, click over here and copy this HTML link and then paste right here. Again, search location right here, filter by free option and click over here and then copy this and paste over here. Now save and refresh. Here we are, right? So again, in order to have a space in between the icon and this text, let me use another special character ampersand NB SP and semicolon. So now save and refresh. Here we have, right? Okay, this is an HTML part. So now let's dive right into to style this section. So here we have a footer section class selector. Copy this. As always, first add a comment right here, footer section, and using this class selector, margin 0 and auto, and then using this upper footer class selector right here, background image. Let me add a linear gradient background image right here. Here we have background image linear gradient having a RGBA color code and image URL. So here we have the image that we are going to use, and then another background. Let me add another background property, background size, cover, background repeat, no repeat, background position, center, and then background attachment, fixed, padding 20 pixels from top and bottom and 10 pixels from left and right. So now let me save and refresh in my web browser. Here we have a nice linear background image right here. So again, using this class selector right here, our address, and an element selector h3, color white, font size 200%, padding 50 pixel. Now let me save and refresh. Here we have, right? Okay, as you see here, let me just, okay, now let me use this open our class selector and margin top 50 pixel. Now save and refresh. Here we have, right? But instead of using our address, let me use this class selector upper footer section and h3 right here. So all the h3 element which is found inside upper footer section will have a white color and font size to 00% and padding 50 pixel. And now using a descendant selector, upper footer section and paragraph element right here, color white, font size 110% and padding 50 pixel. Here we have padding left 20 pixels instead of 50 pixel. And now let me save and refresh. Here we have, right? So again, using this class selector, map container and h3, text align, center, padding, let me say 5 pixel, background color, let me say golden rod. And now save and refresh. Here we have, but let me change this background color just like this, and now save and refresh. Here we have, right? And then using this class selector, Google Map, let me add a property value pair right here. Let me say height. This amount viewport height 60 viewport height and border radius. Let me say 20 pixel, and now let me save and refresh in my web browser. Here we have, right? Now, as you see here, you can able to zoom in and zoom out this map in order to find the location of this website right here. Now, I'm going to show you how you can create the footer section of this fully responsive food ordering website right here. So, to create this footer section, as always right here, let me add a comment over here. Lower footer section, and let me create a section having a class name lower footer section. As a section, we have a div element having a container class name, and inside this container we have a row. In this row we have column. Since in this case we are going to use span 104 class selector. Why? Because we need 4 columns. And then inside this column we have a div element having a class name called footer. And again inside this div element we have UL, an order list, and a list item right here. In this list item we need to have an anchor element right here, and then copy this and paste right here and paste right here. Finally come over here and paste right here, since we need 4 columns. And then over here again we need to have an h4 element right here. Here we have food web, menu, features, news, company, why food web, FAQ, partner with us, and here we have blog. Now over here again, here is the link that we are going to use, cut this and paste below this element right here. And here we have a paragraph having a class name footer par. And over here we need to add different social media icons right here. So to do this, come over fontawesome.com and search the icon that you are interested in. So over here, Facebook, and hit on search. Click over here and copy this HTML link and paste right here. And again, paste right this HTML link and change this Facebook into YouTube. And then copy this again and change this Facebook into Instagram. And also here we have, and again change this into Twitter. Let me save and refresh in my web browser. Here we have, right? Okay, these are placed in a single column. The column width 104, right? Later I will adjust it. And again, outside of this row, we have a paragraph having class name footer para. Here we have two paragraphs. And now, save and refresh in my web browser. Here we have, right? And then, this is an HTML part. Now, let's walking you through to style this HTML document right here. As always, let me add a comment over here. And using a class selector right here, upper lower footer section, background color, light pink, let me say light pink, padding, let me save and refresh. Oh, nothing is displayed. There may be a problem. Okay, here is a mistake. Section over here, it should be SE section. The mistake is occurred while writing the word section. So now using this class selector right here and background color light pink. Here we have, right? Cool. And then using descendant selector, call footer and H4, let me style the text that are found inside an H4 element. So call footer H4 and font size, let me say 150%, text transform, capitalize, font weight 500, margin bottom, color. Now let me save and refresh. Here we have, right? Now copy this and paste right here. Remove this and then add after right here in order to draw a line over here. So to draw a line below this H4 element, let me say content empty, background color dark orange with 75 pixel, height 4 pixel. Now let me save and refresh inside my web browser. As you see here, nothing is displayed. So over here we need to have a position over here, position absolute, and top, let me say 40 pixel, and then let me say left 0. If the position is absolute right here, the parent element position should be relative. So relative, save and refresh. Here we are, right? As you see here, all the link is placed in a single column. So to overcome this problem, let me copy this span 104 class selector and again over here, and hit enter, and then one step ahead, and then paste over here. Here we are, right? Again, over here again, let me close this div element right here. So hit enter and backspace, and then angle bracket / and div. Here we have, right? And now we have 4 columns having class name span 104 and column. So all the link is adjusted by itself in 4 columns. You see what tool is that, right? Okay, now let me continue. Now let me remove this bullet point right here. So to remove this bullet point, we are going to use a descendant selector called footer and UL. Call footer UL and list item, list style, none. Now save and refresh. Here is it. Cool. And again copy and paste right here and add li right here. Any list item that are found inside this call footer class selector have margin bottom 20 pixel. Now save and refresh. Here is it. Now let me remove the underline in each of the list item. So to do this, using a descendant selector called footer li and a text decoration none, color white. So save and refresh. Here we are, right? Cool. And now let me add a hover effect over this link. Hover, color orange. Now save and refresh. Here we are, right? Now let me style these 2 paragraphs right here. To style this, we have a class selector footer par. Color white. Line height 180%. Text align. Center. Margin top 10 pixel. Font style italic. Now let me save and refresh in my web browser. Here we are, right? Cool. Now it is time to change the background color right here. So let me say the background color dark. Here we are, right?